I had a little bit of time before I raced the last two here, which is the one horse isn't ours anymore. I think I will start actually with the sale today. I told everybody the only horse that really was going to leave was Wander Hill. I just don't think that he was going to be a stake horse or any sort of effective horse for us this year, which is frustrating. You know, when you look at a horse like Wander Hill, I go back and I look at my notes from the sale, kind of a good-looking horse what he was, and how he made breaks, but he showed potential all winter. And then just didn't pan out. And not even that, like we have a couple of horses that we thought were stake horses, like sire stake horses that are probably Buckeye or Stallion Series horses. And that's a little upsetting. But when you get a horse that is, for the most part, pretty useless, it's upsetting. It eats away at me a little bit, wondering, is there something we could have done different? Anything we can do different? And the answer is quite simple. You know, history always repeats itself in life and definitely in this industry. And he's not the first horse to do this. So it just is what it was. So Wander Hill left. We ended up also selling Born to Dance, who's in tonight. Percy Elkins, who I actually drove a lot of horses for over the past, 2 decades. And actually had trained some horses for him way back when, before the stable. He had bought the horse tonight, and he's his horse now. So, well, he's our horse now. But the deal was he's going to get the purse money. That's the way the sale worked. Working on maybe selling the other horses privately. I have somebody interested potentially at he's a grape guy today. I was a little surprised at a no sale from both the other horses. Victory Blue Chip is simply worth more than 14 or 15,000. He didn't get the $15,000 bid. He didn't get to 16, I should say. But he's worth that. And quite frankly, Dominion, the way he's racing, you know, a month ago, he was worth nothing. After his win, after his third, he's starting to put it together and look like a decent horse. And when he's done racing in the Elmers of 2, when Harry says, hey, he's going to find it tough now, he can come over here and race in the Elmers of 1, 2, right up to 4, where Militant has been racing. You might say, well, he can't trot in 56. No, well, 2 minutes wins the bottom class, right? Victory Blue Chip went in 59 and 3 last week. So it's not unrealistic to think that he can't do over here. In fact, I'm certain he can, and that's why I just wouldn't give him away. A couple people call and, tire kickers wanting to give you 7 or something. No, I'm not giving away a horse that we finally got going. You want to give me fair market value, then by all means, he's your horse. But I'm not going to otherwise. So we sold 2 horses today. Born to Dance has left us now, theoretically, although I am going to race him in the 14th. Also leaving us today was Wander Hill. Not the end of the world. And the other 3 horses, Grape might be on his way out at some point. And then the other 2 trotters, fine. You don't want them? No problem. We'll race them. And that's my take on them. Now, later on today, we got 2 racing also. Obviously, a disappointment with Gorgeous Package. Oh, sorry. I'm going to first start with My Wicked Heart. It, from my point of view, missed the gate and then ended up parked the whole way. Not really a way to effectively race a filly that is a longer shot. Although the horse that was second last was 10 lengths ahead of her. At this point, she's not worth a whole lot of money. I'm more apt to say, do we know anybody in Hanover that might race this filly for a couple of weeks for us? We just sold a horse to Becky Geisel, Jayport Beach Boy, not that long ago. Maybe she has room just to give her a couple of starts. It'd be nice to get a couple of wins under her belt. And then from there, I say, okay, now if Becky or anybody wants her in Hanover, she's for sale. I think that makes the most sense to me. But racing her again at Georgian Downs or Grand River, where she's going to get beat up a little bit, she should be able to pace 59 over there, and I can't really tell you why she did. The only reason I opted not to sell her today, because she trained freaking good the other day. Looked good. Clearly not good enough, or didn't transition over to racing, that's for sure. So, a bit of a frustrating situation in that regard. Now, we will get to the horses that raced tonight. Gorgeous Package. Let me unpack that package for you. Seemed fine in the warm-up, and when I scored her down, coming off the car, she was a little hot. We put earplugs in her tonight. She didn't like them, but that isn't why she ran. We put line poles on her tonight because she was running in and then blew the turn in Northfield. Her first start was on the left line, finishing up at Scioto Downs, so we put a line pole on each side. Did that cause the calamity today? I doubt it. Was it a component? Possibly. What we also did after our first start was we knew we were going to race in the next generation. We knew that Scioto was deep. We added borium to her toes of her shoes. A little bit of beta borium. And you might say to yourself, Anthony, really? Is that going to make a difference? It can make a huge difference for some horses. And I'll tell you why it can make a huge difference. Because this is 3 starts in. She's never had any vet work done in her life to speak of. And maybe, because the track was a tiny bit tighter tonight than it had been in recent memory, maybe that jammed her up a little bit. She wasn't herself. She almost made a break getting into the last turn also. We scoped her after. A couple of spots of blood. Nothing serious. No mucus, no allergy stuff going on, which I would have expected. So everything that happened tonight was not airway related, was mechanical for the most part. Those specks of blood can easily be accounted for by the simple fact that she made a break and circled up. And was her line proper? I don't know. She, 3 wide down the backstretch, out of left field, running in the last turn, close. You could try. She could see she was trying as hard as she could to get there. There's no quitting her, I can tell you that. And not what I would call a great race from her. So we'll have the vet go over. I suspect heading in, this is twice now we had her checked, and the veterinarian said her hocks were a little pinchy, but not enough to really do them. But I think now, looking at this, 1, get the boreum back off her. Let's backtrack, walk that back, get the boreum off this filly, lower her up front to 50 degrees. She looks like she's a little high for a filly with splints up under her knees, which I can almost assure you her knees bother her a little bit, and then you start raising that angle up, puts a little more pressure on them. There's a happy medium, right? Too low, you put a lot of pressure on those check ligaments and tendons and everything going on in the leg. Up too high, and you put a lot of pressure on those knees also. 50 degrees, that's where she should be. So that's what we're going to do with Gorgeous Package. Probably going to do her knees and hocks, right? The good news is there was nothing really found in her airway. We will draw her blood just to make sure. Maybe her GGT was high. Maybe she tied up a little bit. But that was not Gorgeous Package tonight. I mean, it was. She was there in spirit, but only partially there in body. So, although it's certainly not what we were looking for from a horse that should have laid over them, salvaged a second, which we were lucky to do. Very lucky to do. Next was Fire and Shine, and quite frankly, if I'm not mistaken, the fastest mile of the night for us. It was. I'll look, but I know it was. Oh, no, that's still in Kentucky. For sure it was. 57-2, 28-2 on the end of it. As I said to Jason, if I had been able to file her right in the last turn, I'm 3rd, 4th. Jason doesn't like her because she's so ornery, and she's been all winter, and Jason was stuck going with her McGinnis a lot of the times, and he drew from that a little bit of hatred for that mare, I think. He's not a big fan of her, but she's not a bad horse. Make no mistake, she might have hit the fastest mile tonight. She's our 4th best filly. But was the fastest one tonight and looked good doing it. Looked very good doing it. Very happy with her. She got a lot to learn. And that will be the tone of the entire night. A lot to learn. Gorgeous Package, we learned a lot from tonight. Fire and Shine needs to learn from tonight's race and grow. She still has that voice in her head, or voices in her head, telling her to be disobedient and rude. And she is sometimes. She's not as bad as she was, and she is improving, but she needs to learn from that. Foxy Seaside is the one that I found the most troubling. I scoped her after, no blood, no mucus. Didn't shut her air off. She's making a little noise pulling up, but that's not unlike her. Now, was she short? Had been off 2 weeks? We did train her up tight. She's not a fan of the half, I can tell you that. Coming off the car near lost her, going to the quarter pole, you could see Dan Noble thinking about starting up the inside, and I said to myself, I might be rough, but you're going to be really rough if you keep going up in there. And Dan was nice enough to cut me loose. He could have removed also. I was going in off like 27 and a piece, 56 and 4. Remember, this is a filly that's already won in 56 and 1. So these are not fractions that should be foreign to her. I didn't feel they were at the time. I let her pace down the backstretch, and we have an ear hood on her. So I'm like, all right, when that horse gets up alongside of her, Foxy Seaside's going to take off. She didn't. Floundered, hung in there, and finished 4th. A poor mile. 31 apiece. The biggest problem I have with that mile is the way she went about it. And again, as I said, the takeaway from tonight was a lot to learn. And she has a lot to learn. So I know all our clients are out there saying, oh, she's a better horse than this. Yes, she is. I got a fast car. If the brakes are bad, I got a flat tire, and my radiator's leaking, it doesn't matter how fast my car is. This is not going to perform well, right? And that's where we're at with Foxy. Her airway was fine. There's no blood, no mucus. She needs to learn, right? Getting out of gear. I can tell you the first thing we can do is get her off a half-mile track. We'll race her at Scioto and maybe pop her over to the meadows once in a while, and only race her here if we absolutely have to. She's going to be a very good 3-year-old, but we don't want to jeopardize that sophomore season by making mistakes as in her rookie season. And I think racing her here is a mistake. And I won't do it again for a while. She needs to sit on a helmet and learn. And all she learned tonight was there's horses faster than her. So hopefully we don't repeat that in the near future. I can tell you it only took one lifetime start for Rosa and Alexander to regain her position as the queen of the castle. You might look at that and say, well, 58-29. No. That last eighth was 27-second speed. She came from the clouds and was absolutely airborne at the wire. Never hit her knee. If she did, barely touched it. I couldn't hear. From time to time, I'm trying to assess the situation. I'm looking down. I'm listening. I'm trying to hear if she's picking at her knee. I couldn't hear her hit it, and I didn't see her hit it, and I don't think she did. And she was absolutely flying at the wire. Keep in mind, we may have galloped her up tight and trained her in 2.6. She hasn't seen the gate in 42 days, 43 days, some 40 days, whatever. It's a long time for a 2-year-old. This isn't a classy old racehorse with injuries that we were nursing. We brought him back, and he's just going to power through it on memory. This affiliate's never been there before, never done anything before. And for her to race that mile, she's a legit filly. This is a very, very good filly. I can't tell you we have sire stake fillies. Could Rosa and Alexander get there later in the year? Yep. I think most of these fillies will taste some sire stake competition at some point as we try to get them into the Consolation and the Buckeye final, as we do in this type of situation. We've talked about this before. But Rosa and Alexandra is the best filly we have right now. She's put it all together. She must have been studying film because she did everything perfect tonight. Gorgeous package. I am almost certain we can repackage her and make her the filly she was and help her become the filly she'll be. Fire and Shine just needs to learn. She's doing everything right, just not being 100% attentive and being 80% rude. And Foxy Seaside, we just need to help this filly. We need to foster her and make sure we allow her to be the best filly she can. Now, head over to Ontario, all gas, no brakes. Looks like we definitely got him dialed in anyway. He was 1,000% a winner tonight if James shakes free. I could see what James was doing. Sometimes you get locked on halfway down the lane. If he could have filed right, he's a winner. But there wasn't really a lot of room. And as Tyler cleared to the lead, he's in the 2-wide path. And truthfully speaking, he's supposed to stay in the 2-wide path. As James drops down, there should be a path there. Not realistically. You still have to guard the rail. I understand what he's doing. I hate when people let horses up the rail to get beat by them. But I also hate when our horses get shut off coming up the inside. So I can't really be as angry as I appear to be. In theory, you're supposed to stay in a straight line from the head of the lane to the wire. If he did that, Tyler, he's in the 2-wide lane, James slides through and he's gone. But he did coast down before James was trying to get through there. One thing I will tell you, all gas, no brakes was stopped and started 2-3 times in the mile and looked like he wanted a piece of everybody tonight. We have found the keys to the castle again with all gas, no brakes. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty smooth sailing from here on in with him. He likes the way he's hung up. He likes his shoes. He likes the way he is. And he certainly showed it tonight. He might have been 5th, beat 2, but he was going to be first by 3 if he gets through at the head of the lane. Yo, Mister, second. I just turned it on. I missed the race. I was talking to Dr. Latessa. We were scoping the horses. And I missed Yo, Mister, and I saw him going to the wire second. I said, 54-1. Man, come on. The horse that beat him's a long shot. Horse that beat him's no slouch. Those are good horses, right? Make no mistake. I think I had it pulled up. Didn't I? James McDonald. No, that was all gas, no brakes. Yo, Mister. I know he beat Locatelli for second. He looked like he was going to be 4th and came back on to be second. The horse that beat it was Fellows' old horse. Beat him is Fellows' old horse, right? All wrapped up. Long shot, but another horse can jump up at any time and do good things. He's just a really, really nice horse. And, man, I didn't know he was in a claimer. He's in a 50 claimer. Food for thought. All wrapped up's a nice horse. He get up to beat Yo Mister at the wire. But Yo Mister also beat Locatelli, who had the rail, and Mr. Hanover, who was the favorite morning line, couldn't beat him on the inside. So Yo Mister again played coy, I think, halfway down the lane, get picked off by a horse on the far outside. He come back on to beat the one to the left of him, held off the one to the right of him, but the one on the far outside picked him off. I thought it was a good race, and I was very, very happy with Yo Mister. Coming up in just a minute will be Great Bet for me, and will be our last horse of the night, I believe, who will be Brace for Landing. No, it's not our last horse. Brace for Landing races in 15 minutes, according to this. Great Bet races in 20, according to this, 22. And then Born to Dance closes out our night. Although Born to Dance is not our horse anymore, still going to cheer for the horse. I'm going to cheer for me. I'm driving him. I hope I win with both of them to finish off the card. But for right now, that's an early look. I guess I can, if we have a great run in the last 3 races, I will update you on my way back to Brunswick. But for right now, I had a little nap this afternoon. I have to be up tomorrow at 5 a.m. I have to hook onto the trailer at 6. Remember, the qualifiers are at 10:30. Our horses are still here. I get to hook on to 6 horses tomorrow and take them to the meadows. Have to be there by 8 o'clock because I want to give them just a couple of minutes in the stall to empty out, then warm them up, get them qualified. A number of our clients have messaged me to say, Anthony, what is going on with What a Lady, What a Night? After the 3rd message, I'm like, what? What is the problem? They said, did you see the qualifier? Yeah. She's not a pacer. I looked again. Tim had entered her as a pacer. He made a mistake, obviously. So they offered to move her around, and I said, just leave her alone. I'll follow the pacers. She's ready to go in 2-2, 2-3. They're probably going to go in 58, 59. We'll follow along. The whole point's to get her qualified. So it was a bit of a screw-up, obviously. Not the end of the world. Nobody's fault, and not the end of the... Well, obviously somebody's fault, but not the end of the world, and we will ensure that we get her around tomorrow. Get the other guy, Allie's Got Grit, around tomorrow. And also get High Hopes hopefully around tomorrow. She trained good here the other day. I'm going to school Melisandre tomorrow also. And Daryl's going to drive my car over in the morning, later in the morning. And then I'm going to get in my car and drive back to Ontario. I'm going to have Tuesday night to watch my son play baseball. They're playing their number, I think they might even be behind Waterloo now. So they're playing their divisional rivals right now tomorrow. It's going to be a great game, and I can't wait to see it. And then right after the game, Ava and Addie have joined Daddy. They're going to jump back in. We're going to come back over here. Ava's got a party to attend Wednesday morning, and of course, I wanted to make sure she could go with her friends from the American side of the border. So I offered to go back and pick her up. Addie and I are going to be loose all day long. And then Wednesday night we race the Colts in Northfield here, the Buckeye Colts. Thursday afternoon I am going to race in the meadows. And then for all my partners in that have horses in Kentucky, Ava and Addie and I are going to get in the car Thursday at the meadows and drive to Lexington. Friday morning we got some training to do. We're going to screw everybody down tight for Lexington, take a look and see how they're getting over the surface, see if any changes are needed, find out what the hell is going on with Westland Warrior, and see if we can't get off on the right foot in Lexington. So Eric and Kirby are moving the horses tomorrow. I'll be there on Friday to go with definitely Westland Warrior for sure. Definitely Memory and Imagination for sure. Pickpocket again. We know what's going on with Pickpocket, right? And I think Eric's got a good handle on Pickpocket. Not going to screw around with Gymboree. She looks good. And again, mitigating that bleeding issue. Eric's doing a great job. Eric and Kathy are doing a great job with her. Grand Slam Dio. I want to go with her, find out what's going on there. And then, of course, we have other horses coming down after Thursday. Atrant she's racing at the Meadows. Her and Rosetta are in together. I'm going to drive Rosetta. They're going to descend on Lexington shortly thereafter, and they'll be joined by Militant shortly after Saturday's races. So that is how the 10 are going to look in Lexington right now. Those 10, and if we have an extra stall, Eric said he might be able to squeeze an extra stall. We may need one for Melisandre. Not now, but soon. Captain Incredible also. Lots going on. But I want to get a firm grip on Kentucky on Friday morning. Maybe go out to lunch afterwards with Eric and Kathy and the kids. And then the kids and I will head back to Ontario for the weekend. No, what am I talking about? Saturday is Adios Day. We'll head from Lexington to the Meadows. And then we'll go from Lexington to Ontario via the meadows on Saturday. And then the weekend I'm going to spend in Ontario with Amy and the kids. Saturday evening, Sunday, Monday afternoon, and then Monday night back here. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. As I said, we'll see how the horses race. We'll give you an update if needed. I will talk to you all very soon. Take care.